So we're gonna start this video off on a little bit of a downer, a little bit of sad news. Sad news as far as my eBay store goes. Nothing personal or nothing like that. I know that was a little dramatic, but I want to show you just real quick something I was working on this morning. I didn't record anything because I usually do this once a week. It's getting towards the end of January, and I just started running my numbers for both eBay and whatnot. I just wanted to show you real quick a comparison of the two so far for like 3 weeks into the month of January. It's a little bit surprising. Before I show you, I'll just give you this. This has been the absolute worst month we've ever had since we started reselling. I think I said that like 2 months ago, but now this month beat November for sure. So January 2026 so far has been the worst year, 2 years into reselling. So let me turn this around and show you kind of the numbers that I've been working with so far. So I decided to start 2 new boards. This is gonna be only my whatnot board. So all my live show numbers go on here, and this up here is all eBay. I do mix in like Facebook Marketplace and Poshmark on there. If you saw any of my last videos where I run my numbers, I actually made a post on this on Instagram and Facebook if you guys follow me on there. I know there's a lot of jumbled up numbers on here, but what I want you to focus on is look at all the zeros. So far I'm on the 25th as far as tracking my numbers go. Today's the 26th, so I haven't ran any of those numbers. But so far, 25 days in, we've had 12 days with 0 sales on eBay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days. The only thing that saved us on some of these days is like that $50 Facebook sale. That's a $30 Facebook sale, $5 Poshmark. But the rest of these, like that whole week was horrible. 4 days in a row. 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th with 0 sales. And then $20 on there, a couple more $0 sales. So for that week, we netted $283 with only 8 sales on eBay, $145 net sales, that's net. 8 sales, that's our goal, 825. $106 net sales with 5 sales on eBay. So you can see how hard it is to make a living off of these numbers right here. And then if we move down to whatnot, again, I'm new to whatnot. I'm still trying to grow on here, still trying to figure out the platform, but I do have some big goals on here. I'll just show you real quick. I want to shoot for $2,500 net per month. That equals $210 per show. I want to do 3 shows a week and just some other numbers that I run on there. I've had a few successful shows and a few not so good shows on whatnot. So I'm starting to learn that women's clothing, the way I've been running them is not working for me because I've had 2 shows. I try to do my shows every Tuesday and Thursday. So you can see they're Thursdays and Tuesdays. I'm gonna add in another day, probably Mondays. But I had a women's clothing show, $15 net sales, and another one with $0. So women's clothing, I'm gonna try to figure something out with that, but this was a toy show, $186 net. Variety show, $90 net. And another variety show, $37 net. So far on whatnot this month, and I had another live show over on Dibdit where I did $95. So far for the month, between whatnot and the one Dibdit show, I've done $435 net. And then up here between eBay and Poshmark and Facebook, I've done $535 so far for the month. And then down here on whatnot, $430 between 5 shows. So you can see why I've been going a lot harder on whatnot over eBay because of these slow sales and just multiple days with absolutely nothing, with 0 sales. I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but drop in the comments. I really want to hear if it's just me, maybe I'm doing something wrong on eBay, or is it you guys? I know this is the hard time too. It's like right after Christmas, in between like people getting their taxes and stuff. So I do expect it to be a little slow. But does anybody beat me with 12 $0 sale days on eBay so far? If you beat me with more $0 sales, go ahead and drop in the comments. Since the last video, we've had a handful of orders go out on eBay. I'll show you some screenshots of that because we've already packed and shipped those out. I think we had 1 order on eBay over the weekend. We have it back here on the shelves. I'll go ahead and pull that and show you, but it's not much. Let me show you what those were. Sale number 1 was this Alpine tape deck. We got this out of that $10 unit. This one sold for $19 plus shipping. which brought us in $16.22 net profit. This shirt came out of that huge clothing locker that we bought. It's a vintage America's Most Wanted t-shirt. It's just like a graphic tee. $15.88 plus shipping. That brought us in $12.45 net profit. We sold this little plush right here. Not sure what it was, but we looked it up and listed it. $14.99 plus shipping. That brought us in $10 in net profit. The last one is this Nike Dry Fit skirt. This one also came out of that clothing unit. This one sold for $14 plus shipping, which brought us in $10.97 net profit. And the last thing going out, this is a big sucker right here. This is a Bible. This is a vintage, like from the 1950s. It's not in the best condition. It only sold for $13.33 plus shipping. This should be going out medium mail. I think they pay like $9 in shipping, so we'll end up paying the same. But after we ship it, we'll probably end up netting, I don't know, $7 or something like that for this one. Nothing crazy, but it'll bring us in a few extra bucks. And talking about Whatnot, I actually have another show coming up here in about an hour. I'm gonna try men's clothing on Whatnot. I know my last two shows, like I said, women's clothing hasn't done too good at all. I'm gonna do a test on there, see if men's clothing works. If not, I do have kind of a backup option. Like I said, I do still sell over on Dibdit. Last time I did that women's clothes show on Whatnot, that one tanked. Like I said, $0. I just did a pop-up on Dibdit right after, since I had all my inventory already out, and that ended up doing $95 over there. So I'm gonna try the clothes show here on Whatnot for the men's, and if it doesn't do good, I already have the Dibdit one scheduled for 2 p.m. so I can just head over there and test that out. If it does happen to do better over there, I'm just gonna keep clothing items over on Dibdit, and everything else like toys, collectibles, everything else that I find in storage units, I'll keep here on Whatnot. So I'm gonna give that a test. Like I said, it starts here in about an hour. I'll keep you updated as far as how the results for the men's clothing does. But here is what I have. So I know you can't see all the way down there, but a lot of this stuff was thrifted. Like this is new with tags. That's a Golden State Warriors like Christmas sweater with like 3D pop outs on it. Jerseys, camo. There's a Cowboys jersey right there if you can see that. A bunch of name brand sweaters and stuff like that. So a lot of good stuff. There's some Steelers sweaters. And a lot of this stuff's listed on eBay. Like there's a Cowboy sweater. This is the Boston Red Sox knitted sweater. So there's a lot of good stuff in here. We'll see how this show goes. And that's going to determine how I move forward either on Whatnot or on Dibdit with clothing. All right, so we just wrapped up that show. It wasn't anything too crazy. I ended up doing, I think, $52 in an hour. Again, clothing is not my strongest point here on Whatnot. But I did bring some good stuff today. I was able to give some good deals. So $52 sold in about an hour. I'm doing something a little different, which is gonna help me in shipping, like at the end. I did a flat rate shipping show, which everything I can stuff into this box ships for $9.21. So instead of putting them in totes like I normally do, all I'm doing is putting them directly in here once the buyer purchases them. And like right now, all I have to do is squeeze it in there. You can see it's filled. Do that. Tape it up, and it's already, well, that took like 10 seconds. Well, it's gonna take like a minute once I put the tape on there. But that's gonna make it a lot easier for the future. I used to do it like this. I started off today's show doing it. Like this is one buyer's order right here. This is one buyer's order. And this is the way I used to do it. And then I have to put it individually into the boxes. But now I'm gonna start doing it where just put it directly into the box, and it just makes it easier. I do still have a lot of stuff left. If you look right down here, like this stuff is left. That's what's left in the tote still. So what I'm gonna do is I already have my next show booked at 2 o'clock over on Dibdit. That's in about 30 minutes. I'm just gonna run all this other stuff that didn't sell over on Whatnot. See if I can get rid of some more of this stuff here. Make a little more profit, might as well. I have everything set up. So let's go over there. That starts in about 30 minutes, and then I'll let you know how that show does. So we just wrapped up live show number 2 for the day. That one was over on Dibdit. This one did pretty good as well. I sold a couple extra things that weren't clothing, but if I take those out, we ended up selling almost identical on both Whatnot and on Dibdit, about $50 or so. This is the other thing that I sold. I'm kind of random on my shows. I had a Steelers fan in my show, so I sold this ceramic Super Bowl ball. Comes with a stand. Ooh, I almost dropped it on the plate. And then I sold that for 20 bucks. And then I sold this for $10. Another Super Bowl plate. But this is the clothes that I sold. There's one pile, another pile in there. And then we got another pile right in there. So including everything, including the Steelers stuff, it was $88 in total sales on Dibdit. And then $50 or so over on Whatnot. So I don't know, my decision is kind of, I know I can grow clothing on Whatnot, but I have to be a lot more consistent on there. I think I'm just gonna do clothing, women's and men's over on Dibdit. It seems to do a lot better there. And then everything else, I'm just gonna continue to run over on Whatnot. But since we are talking about clothing, I do have another item that sold. It sold last night. So you might remember this item from about 2 videos ago when I went to Savers. I picked up this New England Patriot sweater. I think it was $8.50 or like $9 or something like that. The reason I picked it up is because I knew they were in the playoffs. They were doing good and somebody was going to want to pick them up. And they did end up making the Super Bowl. And so somebody ended up buying this over on Poshmark. After fees, I made $22. If you take away the $8 or $9 that I paid, I'm making like 13 bucks profit or something like that. It didn't take long at all. I took a couple pictures. It's going to take 30 seconds to throw in a poly mailer. So I'll take the $13 profit on that item. But besides that, no other sales. That's gonna do it for today's video. I don't wanna make it too long. I never know what we're gonna do in these videos. It's kind of a day in the life type of videos, wherever the day takes me. So those are the 2 live streams that we did today, a total of about 3 hours for about $130 profit. Not too bad at all. And I already got all the Whatnot orders packed up. I did that before the Dibdit show. So all these right here are my Whatnot orders. So that took me probably 20 minutes to pack up. And then these right here, I'll just throw in a big Ground Advantage box. Those I have to package a little more carefully, but the shipping is not going to take me long at all on these 2 shows. But as always, I appreciate you watching and I'll see you on the next video.